What's up, Cuddy?
How you feeling, big dog?
Oh man, I can't call it, man. Tired than a motherfucker. Just in less pain than I was yesterday, man.
Hey, every little bit helps, man.
Yeah, I'll be back at it tomorrow. I gotta get this little knee rest, but it's gonna be what it's gonna be, man.
Yeah, man, that rest plays a big part in
Yeah,
how the fuck your pain levels are.
yeah. So, all right, brother, let's get to it, man. Did you see anything about the situation?
Yeah, I saw girl's response. She asked her if she was willing to date a bus. She asked her if she was willing to date a bus driver. No girl said
Right,
only if the dude owned a bus.
right.
Uh, but that's women in America right now.
Well, go ahead, Cuddy.
No, just some of these women are at an age where they are losing value.
Yeah.
Um, Men tend not to look at women their age or older. And you should start lowering your standards at this. I don't know if this woman has not listened to Kevin Samuels or anything over the past couple of years. I mean, because he could have helped her.
You know what? It's a big thing coming out about it's a lot of people. I ain't gonna say it's a lot. You got certain people like, oh, these older guys just want to take advantage of these young women, but then you got the women that's like, yeah, we gotta go. We the older guys are the ones with the money and the sustainability and and it's like you can't make you can't you. One thing has to be true, okay. Um, but with her, and when I listen to this, you know what I mean, and we don't even have to play it. You can if you want. But at first I felt like she just gave her preference. Now you can see the snarky little attitude. I think she was insulted that Ayanna Van Zant suggested that she date a bus driver, or would she date a bus driver? I think she was offended by the question. But the thing is, and just some background, she's a lawyer. I think she pulls in maybe like she's worth 3 million or pulls in 3 million. She's got paper. You know what I mean? None of my business, but just to give you a background. Um, and she was on Fox News for a time. I want to say about 4 years as a contributor. She says I was a disruptor. She was an attorney. She lost her license for some reason. And some other shit. People went and did the history on her and found out a bunch of stuff. I'm not even gonna go through. But this is my thing. When she was asked the question, and somebody said, Ayanna Van Zant wouldn't ask Kim Kardashian or somebody else that question. And I think that she would have, because that's Ayanna Van Zant. And she does that. Now maybe somebody else who's impressed by funds and all of that shit wouldn't have. But she asked her would she date a bus driver, and it was like she act like she didn't hear it. I don't know if she was thinking of a decent response that wouldn't offend people, but she said, well, if he owned the bus. But previously, before that, when she was saying, how do us women, who want to settle into our divinity and our crowns, and, how do we do this when, most of the men don't make as much? We the highest rate of entrepreneurs next to Hispanic women. And it was just all of this ego shit. And but she said men across all races and colors aren't in a position to protect. They aren't even in leadership roles. Set out, date a bus driver if you on the bus. Okay, fine. That's a preference. And I'm like, okay, she's not just being specific. She says, I've done every race of man. Okay. But then when it came to the rebuttal, because I guess some people made, like I guess it was 50,000 responses. And everybody was like, what the fuck? You dogging blue collar workers. Um, she goes on to say I was just trying to pour uh life and encouragement into black men. And it's like, how in the fuck did you get the black men when you said all races across colors and creeds? And like Dr. Umar Johnson said, I think she's what she's doing is she's trying to condemn black men to justify dating white men because her fiance was a white guy. And she dumped this motherfucker. He was a rich white dude. She dumped this motherfucker because he chose to quarantine with his children instead of her. She said his almost grown children, and I get it, those are his kids, but I need to be first. And obviously you don't fucking get it. But all of this black shit, like she went on the Breakfast Club and DJ Envy, like everybody, all these females want to make out like DJ Envy was attacking her. Like just because a motherfucker give you pushback don't mean they're attacking you. And one particular comment that he highlighted was a guy said, you talk about this generational wealth for black people, but you were engaged to a white man, and she never answered the question. And my thing is like this: if you want to date other races, just say you want to date other races. You ain't got to kick brothers to do that shit because this is the thing. I could swear it ain't just black men that drive fucking buses or do blue collar fucking work, electrician work, landscaping, plumbing, carpentry. You know what I'm saying? Construction. All of these fucking jobs, it's every fucking group of men. But for some odd reason, you got certain groups of women out here that feel like I got this degree. Like, ain't no motherfucking man care about your degree. But it's like, I got this degree. I make this amount of money. I got my own this, that, and the other. And most cats is like, man, can you fuck? Can you have kids? Is it good? I know that sounds crass, but it's like a lot of these women throw shit out there that dudes don't even care about. Most cats want to, of course, you want a decent woman, but all of that shit about what you make and all of that, and this thing that they put in their head about, well, they're intimidated because I make more money. That sounds like some shit that you thought of. Cause I don't know no motherfucking dudes just like, oh, this bitch make more money than me. I got the dip.
I've never heard that.
Me
I've never
neither.
heard that come out of a man's mouth.
Never. Never.
And very rarely in conversation do you hear a man talk about how much money his woman makes.
Come on, man. Come, okay.
It's not a factor.
It's not a fucking factor. And I think what we're seeing right now is a lot of backlash from Kevin Samuels because I told you the only thing it was two things I didn't agree with. One was, all right, if the women got disrespectful, okay, get them. But sometimes he went off on them. But then it was like this young lady, Tommy Lee, and somebody else. They was blatantly disrespectful on his show, clowning, drunk and shit. And he didn't trip off of that. Now, some can say, that was his, he had a professional relationship with a celebrity. And he didn't want to fuck that up. But you need to be the same across the board. The other thing is when he told a woman who said, yeah, my husband was beating me. That's why I divorced him. Two women said this, and he said, you should have stayed. I didn't agree with that. But he's right, man. These millionaire dudes, these cats with money, man, let the motherfucker age. They trading them out.
Hmm?
A lot of these women think that, oh, he cheated on me. No, you just got traded out.
Hmm?
You just literally got traded out, man. These guys, man, I was at American Black Film Festival in Miami. I think it was 2010. And we seen Eric Benet down there. These motherfucking women didn't give a fuck that he had a beautiful woman on his arm. It was like they was formed up on both sides of him like it was a Soul Train dance line and shit. And they wished that they could be going through the dance line with him. These women don't give a fuck. The other thing is, when you watch Kevin Samuels, man, he had a lot of women that would call in like, I'm successful. And then when he would start breaking down his success, these motherfuckers wasn't really doing nothing.
What is success anyway?
There you go.
How do you measure success? Is it money? I mean, because plenty of people with money commit suicide.
There you go.
Is it children? I mean, biologically, that's all we're here for, is to eat, sleep, shit, and reproduce.
Right.
How do you gauge success?
Look, man, I guess by shit you can show off to people. For some people. There's a young lady by the name of April Mason. I was watching her video about this shit, and she said, how come it is that women, when they talk about the men that they want, and they talk about being equally yoked, it's always about finances. They never say, "Hey, I'm a soft woman. I'm assertive if I have to be, but I'm looking to cooperate with a guy, inspire, and I want somebody that's gonna take care of me, that's gonna, trust me, protect me, all of that shit."
Mhm.
And that other thing, I'm like, what the fuck? All these sisters keep saying protect. What the fuck are we protecting you from? What is the enemy at the fucking gates that all of a sudden we keep hearing this protect, protect, protect shit? But I mean, she was right. Like this woman said nothing about the man's character. And then when she got on DJ Envy, I mean on the Breakfast Club, it was all about generational wealth and trying to inspire black men. Well, you was talking about men across all races. How all of a sudden, and nobody talked about that. They was just like, oh, she was dogging black men. Nobody paid attention to initially. She said, I'm talking about all men of different races, different creeds, because I done them all. But in her rebuttal, it was all, black men and all of this shit. And it's like, well, where the fuck is this coming from? Number one.
Mhm.
And she's real fucking nasty too. Really fucking nasty. And then, she was talking this generational wealth shit, which, oh shit, what the fuck was that? She was talking this generational wealth shit. And I don't know if people understand the difference between rich and wealth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you.
Being rich and being wealthy, like the fucking DuPonts. You know what I'm saying? Or the Johnson and Johnson family.
Mhm.
Or the shit that Mark Cuban is going to leave his kids. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Not your $3 million in an ever increasingly uh, economy, an economy that's always the rate of inflation is always going up. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers just talking about the in a couple years the dollar won't even be the reserve currency for the rest of the world.
Oh shit, it's not. Yeah, it's done. It's a wrap.
Yeah, and she's talking about generational wealth, which, hey man, I agree with that, but there are very few people that own, like Bob Johnson sold fucking BET. It's owned by an investment group. When you look at the XFL, for instance, that The Rock and his ex-wife and her husband own, it's not just the three of them. There's an investment group. You guys did the show yesterday, and you were talking about 50 Cent, Shaq, and 50 Cent, Shaq, and who was the other brother? Byron
Uh,
Allen.
yeah, Kenyon Burris.
Kenny
Burris.
Burris. Kenny Burris. Yeah. Wanting to buy BET. Diddy and Byron Allen also want to buy um BET. And by the way, Byron Allen is somebody, this motherfucker's worth billions. I mean, he
Mhm.
always trying to sue people that don't want to do business with him, but he's worth billions. That but Diddy and I mean, Shaq, Kenny Barris, and 50. Yeah, it's those three is the front, but I think it's what CVC Investment Group. So
Yeah.
it's like if it's not these investment groups, if it's not foreign fucking interests, then it's the banks themselves. The banks own a lot of these shits, like these huge hotels. You know what I'm saying? Um, One person doesn't fucking own this shit. Trump. Donald Trump don't own the fucking Trump Towers and none of that shit. It's investment groups. He's the front man. So it's like I get the generational wealth talk, but unless a motherfucker come up with another Facebook, another fucking Ring doorbell or something like that, that generational wealth shit, that ship is sailed unless I'm fucking wrong. You know what I'm saying? Now, maybe a motherfucker could be generationally rich, but the fact of the matter is, she wasn't talking about no motherfucker. That's not what she meant. She was insulted that that woman said, "Would you date a fucking bus driver?" And what Iyanla was talking about was a man's character. But when you read all these comments, it's like, oh, why we always got the date down and this, that, and historically, bitch, men have always dated down. Men don't give a fuck. They don't. The arguments, man. I told my wife, baby, I'm so happy. I'm fucking out of the game, out of them streets.
I don't. what are you truly searching for? You know, when I go to date a woman, there's peace of mind in there.
There you
That's
go.
the biggest part of dating. You know,
Right.
whether or not this woman will get on your fucking nerves every
There you
single day.
go.
Like,
That's it.
um, yeah, yeah, it's not whether or not she is a fantastic lawyer or, yeah, her accomplishments
There you go, Cuddy.
aren't the major thing that I'm looking for. I'm not, yeah, I don't walk out of the door and say, hey, you know what, I'm looking for a doctor today. Yeah, the next woman I date has to be a lawyer.
Right.
Uh, it- that's off that's off the table. It's not even considered.
I
Most of the
think
time, it's just, can we get along?
there it is, man. But see, I don't see for I think for a lot of these women who climb the corporate ranks, man, I think they want to be able to when they introduce a guy, oh, he's a doctor or he's a lawyer. Like you really giving a you give a fuck what other people say.
Mhm.
Like to be honest, I don't like going to functions like that. I don't like nosy motherfuckers who be like, man, hey, so what do you do for a living? None of your fucking business. Why are you asking me that? Like, I mean, I guess that's a conversation point or whatever, but it's a topic of conversation for people who gather at events. I don't like that shit. But is it that you want a motherfucker you can show off? Me, I'm like you. After I had been out in the game slaying them for a while, I'm like, man, the woman I want got to bring me some peace. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Um, Sex don't keep anyone. It keeps no one. After the fucking thrill is gone, as our man BB King said, you got to be able to bring me some laughter, some peace, and when you, I think when they hear words like cooperation and submission, they always attribute that shit to a slave. That's not what it is. I just don't need a bitch riding my back, man, and I got to go out and deal with this here world.
I've never wanted a woman to submit. I don't even know what the fuck that
No,
means. Like, it doesn't even
no,
sound attractive to say to
no.
somebody else. Like, I couldn't see myself saying those words and then it being a selling point to somebody. Yeah, who the fuck wants to do that? What's this submission shit? Uh, but I, the whole dating game, everything that's going on right now is just fucking weird. I don't
Yeah,
fucking like it. And they can
yeah,
have it.
man.
They can have it. You can
Yeah,
be lonely in your fucking 50s. I don't give a fuck. You know, you bring this shit on yourselves.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen. Let me tell you something. I've seen. Hey, man, listen. I don't. Hmm, I know a woman who talked all that shit. Every time you talk, oh, they jealous of my degree, my degree, my degree.
Mhm.
And I could be, what is it? What is that shit? I could do bad by myself, or what is that dumbass shit they say?
Yeah, something like that.
I could do bad, or I could be, motherfucker is lonely, miserable, um, always agitated, can't see that they get in their own way about shit. And it's like, I don't give a fuck who, if you enjoy being a cat lady, and them bitches be seen now from smelling all that cat piss. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, if that's what you want for yourself, cool. But what is this doctrine that you spread? Ain't nobody happy being with them by themselves, especially when you get older. I mean, how many motherfucking pairs of high heels, dresses, how many different colors can you put on your nails and your face? How many different places can you go? And I mean, you usually hear this shit from women who hit the motherfucking wall. Usually hear this shit from women who hit the wall. Cause the younger bad bitches ain't even got to say nothing because motherfuckers is swooping them up. You know, uh, I'm so happy that I'm not out there. Now, let me say this. I do think that a lot of dudes misinterpreted a lot of what Kevin Samuel said, especially and especially Andrew Tate. You look in the comments, you see motherfucking women making comments and dudes being in there. You need to listen to me because I'm the man. Nobody need to listen to you because you sound like a dumb motherfucker. So in that respect, I understand these women being cautious because you do got some niggas that's on the excuse me, you do got some men that's on a power trip. But this shit that she talking about, she got the right to date whoever she want to date. If she want a motherfucker who, I think the own the bus shit was a metaphor. She wants a business owner, an entrepreneur. Okay, cool. But I hope she got something else with that. But that whole shit about you don't give a fuck about no brothers. I ain't even saying she ain't dated brothers, but that whole shit and everything she said, generational wealth and AI is taking over the jobs and all of this shit. So you gotta own something. Well, I mean, if AI take over all the jobs, ain't nobody gonna be there to patronize your business. How many businesses went belly up during COVID?
Mm-hmm.
That was there pre-COVID. And so, hey man, I'm not dogging a woman because of her preference, man. She got the right to date who she want to date. I always felt like if a woman came out and said, man, I want a motherfucker with money. Hey man, more power to you. But don't you ain't got the shit on the bros, man. And be conscious of your own decisions because a lot of times women that sound like that get older and miserable and all men ain't shit.
That's where that's the league they're putting themselves in right now.
Right. These motherfuckers freezing their eggs, bro. I want kids.
Mm-hmm.
I got these frozen eggs. Oh shit.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Right.
Good luck with that. Yeah. What do you? How long do you freeze them? Because
I
by
don't
the
know how
time
to
you
word it.
find the perfect motherfucker with everything that you're looking for, both of y'all too goddamn old to raise a kid.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
there's a time for everything, and sometimes you chase the wrong shit and you miss out on your opportunities.
Right. Right.
And yeah,
I mean, more power to her. Um, I'm not gonna say she an ugly woman. I think a lot of that shit was bullshit. She don't look like motherfuckers is heavily filtered because she only 39
hmm
and she looked 42, 43. But she's not an ugly woman. She's not a stupid woman. She's obviously successful. My opinion, stank ass attitude. There's a way to say things because she's like, oh, if I'm saying it this way, then I'm not gonna apologize for that. Okay, well, that's fine. Um, but there's a way that men talk to men for a reason, and then there's a way that women should talk to men, and there's a way that men should um communicate with women as well. And when men feel that masculine shit coming out of you, they're gonna shut down. You're a woman for a reason. And it's a way that you could communicate. You ain't got to be like, oh. But when you're like, yeah, and I ain't finna sit up here and apologize for what I'm trying to say. When if I'm telling you, people got to go back and listen to this shit. She clearly said men across all races. I've dated them all, but then it just turned into a black man thing, and nobody know where the fuck it came from. Even if those comments were brothers in there, that was those brothers that made the comments, not all of them. But hey, more power to her, man. I hope she get a rich motherfucker, man, so she can buy more heels and cars and
I
shit.
don't understand if she's a professional woman. She's around professional men. How come none
Somebody
of them
else,
want you?
somebody else said that though, Cuddy. Somebody said, how did she not meet a guy in college? How did she not meet a guy? And this is, and I'm saying this irregardless of race. Minister Farrakhan, I once heard him say, love who you love, but look to your own first.
hmm
And even with that, I don't sit up and tell motherfuckers who they date. My sister-in-law, that's my sis, is a Filipino woman and probably one of the greatest human beings on this planet. Probably one of the greatest women. Uh, Gave me two beautiful nephews, and my brother-in-law is happy. my bro, and she's always sweet. Her mom's always sweet. That's all of our moms. Mom's Castro. Um, so I'm saying she can date who she want to date. I'm not saying that, but it's like you ain't rubbing no shoulders with a motherfucker like me, a lawyer on TV. I think she dated Joe Button at one time. Somebody said, but
Okay.
you around all these cats. You ain't around no motherfucking blue collar motherfucker like us. What, like you said, why? What happened with that? Why ain't you? You know what I'm saying? Why ain't nobody wife you up yet?
Because your attitude is shitty.
Okay, all right.
That's
Well,
all it boils down to.
there it is.
When you're around motherfuckers that got the same shit you got, you ain't fucking important. You're not special.
Right,
They don't want you because they have the same shit you have.
right. Oh, so
Yeah,
it's like,
you're not a catch.
so it's like the motherfucker who he got his ball and everybody playing ball and he get mad and he be like, man, I'm taking my ball home.
Mm-hmm.
But what he don't understand is somebody like know how that motherfucker is, so they brought their ball too, and they like,
Mm-hmm.
fuck you and your ball, go home, punk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what it is, man. Her attitude, you gotta watch the Breakfast Club. Envy was just like, yo, you dogging the blue collar workers, and they would. I don't know. I didn't think he was pressing her too hard. He was asking her some legitimate questions, and hey man, like I said, the young lady, she got the right to do what she want to do. I'm not gonna sit up here and tell her who the fuck she can and can't date. I don't necessarily even feel like because to really and truly, I don't feel like because she said I wouldn't date a blue collar worker that she was necessarily looking down on him. You know what I'm saying? Like I think everything she said was some bullshit. I think it's more of a preference of she just don't want to fuck with no bruh. Cause nobody said I ain't saying nothing about no brother. She brought that shit up in her rebuttal. So I mean, she just any motherfucker that say I understand him wanting to go quarantine with his semi-grown kids, but I need to be first.
Yeah.
Nah,
No.
baby.
Mm-mm.
Nah, baby.
No. And that selfishness will
Right,
keep your ass alone.
right,
Go be with your fucking people.
right.
Yeah, yeah. You missed the opportunity to have kids. I guess you got no one to hang out with during the fucking pandemic. Die alone, bitch. It's just
By a dog.
what else? Yeah, what else can you say to somebody like that?
Nah,
Yeah,
man, look. And like somebody said, she's set in her ways, man. I just feel like, man, how many like, damn, like you you want a guy that does all this. So what you supposed to do with your money and your resource? Just keep hoard all your shit to yourself and spend his shit,
yeah. Can't take it with you.
and then protect you from what? Your mouth, your own
Yeah,
attitude.
yeah, yeah. What's this protection shit?
I don't get that shit, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's my take on that shit, man. I just seen everybody talking about it. I figured, yeah, hey man, let's get a view or two from this shit. Fuck it.
Yeah. Like I said, before we started this shit, I didn't know who this bitch was, and I'm glad I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I yeah, she ain't my cup of tea. I've known women like her. And you know what? A lot of that shit be capped too. They be fucking with they be fucking with the little hood niggas. Let them hit a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Let them, let them, they fuck around with that tip. You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is, baby. Hey,
Yeah,
live your life.
yeah, yeah. Live it, live it.
Yeah.
Document it yourself because nobody's gonna be around for you.
Hell no. Hey, but your girls, pack of lonely motherfuckers, on going on a girls trip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. All right, brother. What else we got?
That shit. That's it, man.
All right, brother.
Peace.
Peace. Fuck is that?